and welcome. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. Hello to Marcia, always the first one in the house, in the date night house. Welcome to date night. Hello, Lori. And welcome to Liz. How are you, ladies? So glad that you're here. Welcome. We are going to look at a couple of machines tonight, a Bernette 79 and a Bernina Q20. Now, ladies, you're going to have to bear with me. I'm experimenting today. So if we have technical problems, I actually expect to have technical problems because I've set up 3 cameras. I set up a new space for the Bernina Q20. I have in another room down the hall. So I've been working all week so that I can share my experience as a Bernina ambassador and share with you the machines. So I've been working really hard. Hello, Renee. Welcome. And whenever you try something new, there's always going to be a challenge or a problem. Okay, got that? So just be prepared just in case things go awry. So, what's going to happen is I'm going to change my location twice. We're going to have 3 different locations. I have in the studio, if you've seen some of my studio tours, on the other side of the camera, that's my sewing machine. And now it's set up with the B79. So I have a camera over there. So I'm going to leave this spot and go over there to show you the B79. Then we're going to chat a little bit more. I'll come back here for a little while. Then I'm going to go down the hall to the Q20. And that's a brand new setup, and I'm experimenting with how to go live in that space. Hello, Benita. I'm so glad that you're here. But I thought I would share with you that as an ambassador for Bernina, I have the privilege and the opportunity to try machines that work well for what I love to do, and that is quilting, right? Piecing, free motion quilting, ruler quilting. So I am like any other person, brand new machine. I need to read the manual. I need to get acquainted with the machine, know how all the things work, and I'm still in that process. So it's not instantaneous. Who, raise your hand, has ever had a machine that's brand new to you, whether it's new or purchased used? Because I purchase used machines too, and it's brand new. The how it works, where the controls are, how you get a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Hello, Rochelle. So glad that you're here. Welcome. Oh, Lori, I'm so glad that you like the preview videos I've been making. Yay. Renee, you are right. There's a learning curve. Exactly. So I'm an ambassador, but I am not an expert yet. I want to say yet because I plan to become an expert over time. And that happens whether it's a machine or a skill like free motion quilting or ruler quilting. All of you are working towards goals to improve your quilt making process. And in that effort, you are moving from beginner to intermediate to expert. How many of you are a beginner? Name something in the chat that you are a beginner. Right now, I am a beginner at using the Bernina machines, right? The Q20 I've had for some time, so I'm getting a little bit past beginner in terms of free motion quilting and how it sounds and the stitching, but I'm still technically in the beginner phase. I'm definitely a beginner with the B79. I only picked her up last week. Okay, let's check the chat. All right. Oh, have fun at the football game, Rochelle. Awesome. So glad you're here, that you could make it just for a few minutes. All right, so let me go in order. You know what, Rochelle, maybe I'll do this for you now because Renee says beginner at ruler work. Yes, and you're picking up tips and you're learning your machine setup, you're learning designs. Fantastic. It's always good to be a beginner, right? It's good to learn, to experiment. There's excitement when we are learning something new. And I always say, when you're a beginner, that is when we are free to make those mistakes because mistakes are learning lessons. If you look at it that way, if you press the wrong button, you learn something. Then the next time you press the right button, or et cetera, et cetera. Always something new to learn. Exactly, exactly. So last week, if you missed not last week, but the last time we were together 2 weeks ago, I did an interview with Tina. Remember Tina, the scrap quilter? She tenderly stitched. If you didn't watch that live session, go take a look at it. She had a special ruler and she gifted me a pair and I made a block and I'm going to show that to you. But what happened during that session is that I forgot to share with you my scrap quilts. Let me know in the chat if you would like to see my scrap quilts before we get started looking at the Bernette and the Bernina machines. All right, let me know if that's what you would like to do. We can look at some of my scrap quilts. Renee says yes. Yes to the scrap quilts. Who else would like to see the scrap quilts? I was supposed to share them last time. We ran out of time. So I want to fulfill my promise because I said I would share. And I picked very particular ones because these are the ones that helped me when I was a beginner learning quilting. So Benita says yes. And I love using, as you know, if you've been here, I love different techniques to help me learn in getting better at it at a process. All right. Michelle says, love seeing quilts. All right. So here we go. Here is one of the first ones. This is a scrap quilt based on 2.5-inch squares. So many patterns out there have 2.5-inch squares unfinished. They finish at 2 inches. And this was taking scraps and adding a little bit of yardage. That's the peach or the beige background. But guess what? I also included several techniques in this quilt. It's a scrap quilt that I also did quilt as you go. Quilt as you go. The center part where you see the squares, that was quilted first before I added the borders. I did some free motion quilting and then I did some individual decorative quilting in each square. Just one little design. Oh, Lori says, yes, got a lot of ideas from Tina. Fantastic. Tina was great. Yes, Tina was fantastic. So this is just some of the scrap quilts that I've made over the years. And the borders, I put the borders on quilt as you go on a serger. A serger. It was a technique that I wanted to learn in my desire to learn different ways to free motion quilt or to quilt my end project. I was looking at free motion quilting, machine quilting, ruler quilting, quilt as you go, and quilt as you go with a serger. Have you heard of that before? Let me know in the chat if you ever heard of quilt as you go with a serger. Hello, Wilda. Welcome, welcome. Hello, so glad that you're here. All right, so this one was one of my first scrap quilts way back in 2009, I think it was. Yes, a serger. There's, if you check on YouTube, you just put quilting as you go with the serger. That's how I learned. Okay, what's the next one? The next one is this one. It is with a particular template that gives you the same shape in the center. Then you take 2.5-inch scraps, and you go around in a circle until you fill or complete enough to make the size block that you want. If you want a 12.5-inch square block or 10.5, then you keep going. And I decided to put all my scraps based on color. So you see there's butterflies that are embroidered butterflies in the center. And then I picked reds, pinks, greens, and this again was another adventure in learning different techniques. I love taking projects like this and having fun with them. So this is definitely a scrap quilt. And what's fun about this particular scrap quilt is that in the center, you can do anything you want. You can put butterflies, you can have it become a signature quilt where people sign their name in the center. You can do anything you want in the center. Thank you, Liz. I'm glad that you like it. Yes, this is hanging in someone's house who I gifted this to a dear friend. She's in the chat on YouTube. I wonder if you can guess who that is. It's hanging in her hallway right next to her sewing room. Gorgeous quilt. Yes, it's Wilda. Wilda was gifted this quilt many, many years ago. If you ladies didn't know, Wilda is one of my quilting buddies, if not my best buddy in quilting. And we've gone to many quilting retreats together. And she actually introduced me to a quilting retreat here in Williamsburg. And she also encouraged me in my free motion quilting. So I am sitting right here now teaching quilting in part because Wilda encouraged me as a quilter, as many of you do with each other. Yes, it's kind of a crazy quilt. And Wilda says it's even more beautiful in person. And then that is true. That is true. Let's see. I have one more for you. Yes, Lori, hummingbird panels are great. You made one, you put one together for your sister. That's fantastic. Yes, I think that's awesome. I love that. It would make a very special quilt indeed. Yes. Thank you, Cassie. So glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. Now, this is the last one. And I have to confess, it's not a quilt yet. This is not a quilt, but I thought I'd share it with you because when I was learning how to piece different styles of piecing, um, let's see, piecing by strips, piecing with foundation paper piecing, piecing curves. I was learning all these techniques as a young quilter, new quilter. And I joined this community called Block Lotto. This lady has been running it for years. You can look it up on the internet and you can join it. It was free when I was taking it, and I think I did it for like 2 years. Every month or so, you get a new block, and everyone would make a certain amount of blocks. It would be thrown in a pot, and then, so depending upon how many she received, then you would get the blocks for that month to make a quilt. But I always made extra and kept it. So I have all these blocks that I've made learning all these techniques. So I have yet to sew it together. They're still separate blocks. I still need to put it together and make it into a final quilt. But I love this for so many reasons because it brings me back to the days where I was learning about color, learning about piecing techniques. Love, love, love this. And so if you want to learn about different styles of quilt blocks, different sizes, different techniques, look for Block Lotto. It's a fabulous community. It's a virtual community. It's online and it's a lot of fun. You get to not only make the blocks, you get to share your wins and successes, the things that you make. and it's a really great community. Yes, it is. It is. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so that is it for the scrap quilts. Those are the things that I wanted to share with you last time, and I'm so glad that I was able to share it this time. So, because of the way I am broadcasting tonight, remember, if you just joined me, you may not have heard that I'm experimenting tonight. So, we might have some technical difficulties, but how do you know unless you try, right? So, I have set up a new studio, Studio B, and that is the Bernina Q20. I'm going to switch and go to that studio. Let's see what happens. Are you ladies ready? I'm going to switch. All right, here we go. Now I have to go down the hallway. Matter of fact, why don't I put on my microphone? I need a different microphone to work over there. So I have a wireless mic and I need to put on earphones. We are going to experiment tonight. Let me put this in. All right. Hopefully we don't get an echo or what have you. This is really weird looking here. Let me see if I can do this a little bit. I'm going to hold it for now. All right. So I'm going to switch to that camera. And then while you're waiting, just talk amongst each other. Let everyone know what you're working on. I'll be right back. But I'm going to go to the scene right now. Here we go. Okay, here I am. Now, ladies, because I'm at this new machine setup, I don't know if you're hearing an echo. And since I'm not at my main computer, I'm using my cell phone to monitor the chat. Let me know if you hear me okay and if there's an echo. Sound is good. Oh, wonderful. Yay. Okay. And you can see me and the camera and everything. Okay. Wonderful. All right. So let's get started. This is the Q20 sit down long arm, but this same machine, of course, can go on a frame. Let me see if I can put this mic right here. Okay. So what comes with the Q20? It's for free motion quilting. It's 20 inches that way. But of course, you get a manual. If you didn't know, all these machines are specifically put together by one person. And then you get a tag with their name on it to know who was the technician that put together your machine. So I'm going to keep that. And of course, I still have to go through the manual, but the other things that you get, let's see, you get this tin. This tin has some supplies in it, which we'll go through those. There's some needles. Let's see, what else? You get a cloth to clean off the machine with your fingerprints because this is a touch screen for the different settings. And you get some oil for your machine. And this was exciting. You know you're a quilter or a crafter when you get excited about oil, right? So there's two different oils, one for the machine, but this one it has a little X right through a machine to let you know this is not for the machine. This is thread lubricant. Oops. There's a little piece, a felt piece. This is a second one that comes with it, but there's one already on the machine. And if your thread needs lubricant as it goes through, you just put it through and it lubricates as it's feeding. I love that. So that's a bonus. I don't have any other machine like that. You get a seam ripper. Sadly, we all need these. Some thread nets. What else? A brush to clean out the bobbin area. A little screwdriver. You get some spool caps. And you get some spool stabilizers. Let me know. Let's see. I'm going to read the questions. Okay. How do you know if your thread needs lubricating? Good question. Well, if the thread is breaking a lot, if it's not going through very smoothly and it seems to start and stop in terms of it changes the way the tension is. And then there's some thread companies that recommend that you use lubrication. So as you dig deeper, I think, Lori, you have the my class, 10 Steps to Stress-Free Machine Quilting, and there are 3 videos about thread. And so check some of the resources in the course that talk about how to learn more about thread. Let's see, any other questions? I think that's it. Okay. Awesome. And then you get extra bobbins. But 5 bobbins are great to start with, but I think I'm going to need more. For the beautiful sister, I have bobbins for all the color changes I had in the quilt. Whoops. So, yeah, I'm going to need more bobbins. Okay, I'll put that aside. What else is in there? Oh, and look at this. Look at this. Have you seen this before? Who can guess what this is? Can you see that? Can you guess what that is? I was pleasantly surprised to find this. If there's a Bernina user in the chat, let us know what this is. So Lori says, yes, I'll check again. Thanks. Okay, awesome. All right. This is, you know what I'm curious about, ladies, on the tech side, is there a delay in when my mouth moves and the sound comes out? Because I know you're saying this sounds very good, but from where I am, I cannot tell at all. This setup doesn't allow me to monitor. I'm looking on my cell phone and it's a little bit of delay. Oh, no delay? Yes. All right. Awesome. So wonderful. So no one knows what this is. You haven't figured it out, right? This comes with the machine and this is ingenious. It's those little things that just make the difference. There's a slit right in here. So when it's time to change the needle, oh, so loud. This will hold the needle. Let me erase the needle. So when I loosen with the screwdriver to take out and replace the needle, so the needle doesn't fall down into the machine, this holds the needle. And then when it's time to bring in a needle, again, it's going to hold the needle and help me push it in without using my fingers. Is that wonderful? I love that. Okay, so that's everything in the tin. Yeah, Lori, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Basic tool, yes. And then they also give you a bobbin tension gauge, which is so important for long armors. Can't live without that. You know, on our domestic machine, we normally just adjust the top tension. On a long arm, you want to learn how to do both. And without the bobbin tension gauge, you're going to get frustrated. So if you have a sit down long arm or one on a frame and you don't have one of these, save yourself some frustration and time. Get one of these. Okay. Now, for those of you who are in my alphabet design course, you know I talk about in the beginning practicing one letter, right? And some of my favorite tools when I'm going to do free motion quilting are quilting discs. I also use my trusty magnifying glass that's lighted to check my tension so I can really get in close and look at both sides. So I always have this on hand. Also, at my machine, I will always have a way to practice with a whiteboard. So today I was doing a little bit of practicing the letter L, I mean, no, A. And when you get the whiteboard with ruled lines, that will help you with spacing, the spacing between, and also scale. So I'm going from red line to red line. That's giving me a consistent height. So I can practice that here on the whiteboard, and then I can change because there's 4 lines, 2 in the middle. So I'm going to do 2 red to red, then one of the middle lines, and then the second middle line, then top to bottom, which is the red line to red line. And then I will just repeat that and practice that on the whiteboard. And once I feel comfortable, I'll go to the machine. If you've been following me on social media, I shared a little bit about practice with purpose. It's on Instagram. You can go there and check out that live session. It was saved on my profile. So I talk about what I like to use for free motion quilting, and my favorite foot is the open toe. That's an additional accessory with the Q20. The foot that you get, the one that comes with the machine, is this one here. It's a closed toe, but I substitute. They call this a stippling foot. That's the real name for it. And this one is, I call it a closed toe. So the number 73 is the stippling foot, which I have on the machine, and it is open. But the other thing that's different between these two that I like, this has an adjustment. There's a wheel that you can turn to adjust the height depending upon the thickness of your batting and other things that you might be doing that might like if you have applique or something else that you need to adjust the height of the foot. So that's what I have on the machine. Let's see, any questions? Okay. Renee says, I'm not the only one that uses a lighted magnifier. Good. We're in the same company. All right. So I will take my practice sandwich, and this is half of a fat quarter. So I'll get some fat quarters that are on sale, and I've marked some lines so that I can mimic what I've practiced on the whiteboard that has the ruled lines. And then I get my gloves. Sometimes I'll use the discs when I'm practicing my my warm up. So before I go to a particular design, I'm going to warm up. I'm warming up with a stippling. And I'll warm up, and that's what I did with this machine. When you get a brand new machine and you're setting it up for a particular project or just learning, the only thing that I'm going to do is something simple, 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 not complicated, because I want to listen to the machine, how it sounds when it's running nice and smooth, very basic. Don't complicate the thread, just a simple 50 weight or 40 weight thread, same top and bottom, and then a meander. And I usually do that with these discs, right? Then I might take another half of a fat quarter and I'll change the scale, make it bigger. You see how this is bigger and this is tight? See the difference between the two? And then I might squeeze in a little bit of something else that I enjoy stitching, and I enjoy swirls. And so I did a little bit of that. So these are warm up to get comfortable with the machine. And if you are wondering about this blue tape, I will tell you what that is once I finish this row. I'm going to stitch this. Let me know if this machine sound is too loud. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Now, the Bernina has BSR, Bernina Stitch Regulation, and they have 3 different settings. And setting number 1 means the needle will continue to stitch or go up and down, and your stitch regulation will happen with 2 sensors that are on the top of the machine. And as you move the fabric, those sensors will regulate the stitch based on your hand movement. If you don't move the fabric, the needle will continue to go up and down in one spot. Stitch number 2, BSR number 2, it will stop with the needle down. And I put needle down here and the machine will stop stitching. So when I take my foot off the pedal, it stops and I put needle down here. So that's up to you what stitch regulation you want to use. You can also set your stitches per inch. So I'm going to put it down a little bit lower. SPI, stitches per inch. I don't know if you can see it on camera, probably not, but I'm going to take my needle up and then foot up, which releases the thread, and show you this blue painter's tape. I have a blue painter's tape here because I've put on a glider. And in order to put the glider on, I had to put holes for the sensors. So I had to cut one, two, three, four small holes, one for the needle, of course, and the thread coming up with the bobbin, and then for the sensors. So if you have a sit down machine and you want a glider or a slider, you will have to cut holes so that those sensors can sense the fabric movement, because that's what's going to give you the consistent stitch length. So that's important. Well, I have some other accessories that I think I'll save that for next time because I want to show you the BE79. So that was just a quick look at the Q20. I'll be back now that I know that this setup works. I will probably do some little tutorials and maybe even a live session on the alphabet course. Those of you that are taking the alphabet course, I might, and let me know in the chat if there's something you'd be interested in to go from practice to quilt. We might do a little project together. So let me know if that's something you'd like to do. Okay, so there's no smooth technical way to go from here to the other setup. So what I'm going to do is just leave this area, and then the scene will be blank for a while, and then I'll switch the scenes once I get back into the other room. Okay, before I go, any questions about the Q20? Oh, awesome, Lori. You'll be alphabeting this summer. Wonderful. All right. All right. I'll see you in the other room, studio. I didn't give that one a name. Maybe you ladies can think of a name. This is Studio B for Bernina. Is the other one Studio A or the main studio? This is Studio B. See you in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Hopefully, you can hear me now. And I'm so glad that that worked out. It was kind of strange. This was really loud. Date night studio. I like that name, Lori. Date night. Awesome. Okay. So that was a little bit of the Q20. And that was just kind of what comes with the machine and the process of just getting acquainted. And I didn't share a lot because in the beginning, a machine can feel overwhelming. Let me know if that's true for you when you get a brand new machine, because so many times I hear ladies say, I got this new machine and I'm afraid of it. It's been sitting in the box for 6 months, for a year, because it can be intimidating. And so I like to just take it slow and easy. And so I'm doing that with you as well. And so as I learn different things about the machine that apply to just long arm quilting or free motion quilting, like the feet that I use, the tension issues or challenges, whatever it is, I want to share those tips with you. Okay. Will just says it's intimidating just to open the box. Okay. You are so right. And that's why I love that when you buy a machine, many dealers will offer a class. So when I went to pick up the Bernette B79, I took an introductory class so that I can feel more comfortable with the machine. It was, hand holding, someone to hold your hand, right? So I will change cameras now and go to the B79. Let's do that so you can take a look at her. Where is she now? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, okay. There she is. All right, I'm a coming. I'll be there in a moment. All right, here I am. Okay, now, you know what? Let me get my cell phone because, again, I don't have it set up so I can monitor you. There we go. I can't put up comments or anything like that. But this is the B79. And I don't know if you can see this. I hope you can. Let me look at my phone. There it is. Can you see this? It says ECO and it has a leaf. That means if you're not sewing, it goes into this low power mode. I love that. You open this up and there's a stylus on the inside and I can touch the screen and it wakes up. So the machine is now awake. I like that. Okay, so let me see. Do you have a name for her? No, not yet. Ladies, help me with a name. What name could we give her? I don't have a name yet. So she comes with so many accessories, which I love. If you are shopping for a machine, there's nothing like buying a machine with very little accessories, and then you have to buy another foot and another foot and another this and another that. I like machines that include all the accessories that I need, right? Most of them, right? At least most of them. So this interface is fantastic, but did you notice this is Tenderly Stitched Tina's block? Remember, these are her rulers. And I cut rulers. If you watch that live session, remember I cut some fabric from the beautiful sister. And this was the block that she sent me, right? I stitched together my Tina block, my Tina Scrappy block. What do you ladies think? Do you like it? I think it came out pretty cool. Now, I have to confess, if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of a control freak. I like to have things neat and tidy. So mine isn't as scrappy as hers. When I started, I only added this additional fabric and some beautiful sister fabric. Then I thought, oh, come on, Dina, relax, relax, add some more fabric. So I added these from a fabric line. These are all little dots to get in a little bit more scrappiness. Wilda says she loves it. Awesome. Marcia says, what about the creative studio? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by the creative studio, Marcia. Okay, so this is Tina's very, very scrappy quilt block. And I tried, ladies. I really tried to go very scrappy. But I think I did okay. But this is the first block that I pieced on the B79. And it has the extension table, which I love extension tables. Comes with it. But then, of course, you get all of these feet with it, right? You get all of these feet. Remember I said, whoops, there they go, falling in. See if I can grab those out. Okay, here's one that fell in. And then here's another. All right. Okay, and because I like free motion quilting, right? This is the embroidery foot, and here's our free motion quilting foot. Like that those are included. Need the embroidery foot, need a free motion quilting foot. Need those. You get a special spool pin if you have a different type of thread. You can put that right on here for the larger spools. I like that. Buttonhole, everything you need, right? Bobbins. Now, the only thing I wish that was included that was not was a manual. They have this quick start guide, which is good. It has a lot of visuals in it, right? A lot of visuals for everything to get started quickly. But you know me, again, that control person in me, you can get access to their manuals and their workbook. I downloaded and printed the workbook. I didn't print the manual. It's like 180 pages. I wish that that was included in when you buy the machine, that you don't have to go and print a 180-page manual. Instead, I printed the workbook, and the workbook is, you know, step by step on different things, on the menu, on how to mirror and repeat a pattern, those kinds of things. So I'm happy about and okay with doing that. I just don't want to print 180. And I think that might be because we're in such an age of using tablets and things like that, that a lot of ladies, I guess, might use a iPad or a tablet by their machine. So maybe that's why. I don't know. But I guess because I'm old school, I like paper. I like paper. Yes, it does save when it goes in economy mode, Marsha. It does save electricity. All right. Thank you for that reminder, Lori. If you're enjoying this time and you're new to Quilt Conversations Live, don't hesitate to hit the thumbs up and to subscribe to our channel here. So they have two workbooks. One is for the sewing part, and then one is for the embroidery mastery workbook series. So I'm going to go through these step by step. It might take me a little while, but I'm going to do it. So I'll talk a little bit about what you see on the front. Remember, there's a stylus. And what I like is that at the very top, you just take a column at a time. And on the far right, this column, there's a house. You hit the house and you just tell it, do you want to do sewing or do you want to do embroidery? So you hit sewing. It tells you what bobbin. You get two different bobbin holders. And then once you put the right one in, you just hit the arrow and it says, okay, I'm setting up for sewing, not embroidery. Then underneath that, you have gears for the different settings. So your stitches, etc., your lighting on your machine, different applications. Close that out. Then the next column, the top are your practical stitches, straight stitches, zigzag. Next is the decorative stitching. You also get lettering. You can stitch letters, buttonholes, and then quilting stitches, and then you can save some stitches. Now, the other feature that I'm excited about, let me check the chat. Hey, Phelan, so glad that you're here. Welcome. What about Quilt Heaven? Let's see. Quilt Heaven. Okay. If it's online, I can't lose it. That's true. Always, I like having access to the manual online. No doubt about it. I love that. Okay, so the other thing is when you do any of the stitching, you get a small window, but you can always expand the window to see all of the stitching, which I like that. And all you have to do is hit the arrow in either direction to see the stitches. So I'll pick a stitch, and once I select a stitch, right here it tells you width and stitch length. Stitch width, stitch length. And that's the default. It's a straight stitch, so it's going to be 0, 0. If I change anything on this stitch, it will turn yellow. And I can do that here with the zigzag. I say I want a zigzag for this one of 0.5. And it goes yellow. That is an indication to me that I've changed the default settings for that stitch. So I love that. I wanted to share that with you. And then I can change the stitch length by using this knob, and it will go yellow when I change it. But guess what? I don't have to use these. I can also use the on screen. I can change that way. And now we have a different interface to change stitch length and stitch width. And again, the box is yellow, telling me it's not the default setting. Have you ever changed something and you think, oh no, how do I get back to what it was? With this one, you just tap on that and it goes right back to the default setting, and you know it's default because the yellow box has disappeared. So that's some of the things that I've learned at my first session with basic introduction with the machine. The dealer gave me that instruction, which I'm so glad, because it took away some of my hesitancy. You know how Wilda said that she's afraid to take it out of the box, because we know there's a learning curve. Getting that introductory lesson makes all the difference. Okay, so again, I can just touch that, and now I can go minus or plus to change the stitch width. And once I make a change, there's a yellow box that tells me there's a change. You can also use a slider to change. I don't know if you can see it on screen, but when you make a change, you see it visually, not just with numbers. You see the change with the actual stitching. You see the width of the zigzag. It's that neat. I love seeing that. It's changing as I am moving and adjusting the number. Visually, you see what the zigzag looks like. Love that. I'm going to zero it out because it's a straight stitch. And then I hit the X. So that's for every single stitch in here. You can make an adjustment. And then if you like what you've changed, you can use the heart button to save it, because you want to use that stitch for that same project that you do over and over and over again. Maybe it's a mug rug or a bowl cozy or some other project that you make for family and friends. Okay, the other thing that I really love are that you can change different things for these buttons to do. I love that. So that's just a quick introduction to the B79. I'm just getting started. I'm not going to go too much into detail. I think that was enough. If you have any questions, though, let me know in the chat if there's something in particular you want me to go over. Next week, I'm going to get a lesson on the embroidery, and it's actually in the embroidery that I feel most intimidated by, because I've never done embroidery before. Let me know in the chat. Do you have an embroidery machine? If you do, what tips do you have when it comes to a beginner like me learning embroidery? Let me know. Okay, I'm going to leave this. I'm checking the chat here to see if there are any questions. Yes, Lori, the digital interfacing is amazing. Yeah, I love that. Hey, Jacqueline, so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Oh, the other thing that I didn't mention was that from the needle to the back of the machine is 9 inches, and that's a little bit bigger than most. Many are like 7 inches, 8 inches. So 9 inches is a good distance, especially when you're considering quilting. But I hope to make this mainly my embroidery machine. I really want to get good at embroidery. That is my goal. So, all right. I'm checking to see any additional comments, questions. Oh, Liz has an embroidery machine. Oh, you've been embroidering since 2004. Oh, Liz, you're going to be a wealth of tips. That's great. All right. I think that's it for today, for this time. I'm going to go back to the main camera. All right, I am back. Thank you, ladies, for allowing me to switch from one spot to the next. Hopefully, that wasn't too challenging for you. Whoops, I didn't get my microphone. You probably can't hear me. All right, that's probably better. There's my microphone. I forgot to bring it over. All right, so, oh, Lori says, I was afraid of an embroidery machine. Oh, wow. You gave it away. Oh no. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to take the class. I'm going to take online classes and I'm going to join a group, an embroidery Facebook group, and see how it goes. I'll keep you up to date. I'll keep you up to date. What else did I want to share with you tonight? Let me know in the chat what you have been up to. Lori's plans are to go deep into her free motion quilting this summer once school is over. What about the rest of you? Summer is coming. What are you going to work on? Will you have time to work on any quilt projects? Are you interested in getting the rulers from Tina? She says that on her website, the rulers are now available. Are you going to make a scrap quilt? What are your projects for the coming summer months? I would love to know, and so would the other ladies like to know as well. So, just as a reminder, every single month I have a sale. A class is on sale. And this month, this class that's on sale is always a discounted course, online course that you can take. It's all about fabric. And that is, let's see. Let me go to the home. There we go. And you always have to use, it's the fabric tips. The course of the month is fabric preparation, learning about fabric quality, salvage, cutting, sewing, quilting, everything. Liz says it's mesmerizing to watch an embroidery transformation. I can't wait. All right. Yes. So if you're not taking the 10 steps to stress-free machine quilting and you only need help with different areas, not all 10 steps, some of those courses, some of those steps are broken out into individual courses. So the fabric one is a very detailed course. And I announced last time that I was encouraged to create a specific course to help teachers like myself who need help with tech, with teaching virtual events online, with setting up a studio in there, a live streaming studio with cameras and lights and the stuff that we all witnessed tonight. I put together that course. And so if you know anyone that wants to teach virtually but needs help, wants to set that up, I've created a course and it's at my new website. It's called Third Parallel Media. And I give tips, multiple tips. Let me see if I can share the course. Let me go to the course. And here it is. So there are multiple things. One, it's step by step. There's a workbook for them. And there's some included bonuses. We go through the workbook together step by step, and it's video based, and I help you fill that out so that you can get start live streaming for your business. I also include an Amazon influencer starter kit, how you can use Amazon to help share products and other things used by your students, and how to use and get the best out of that. I give a studio video equipment list, three different: a beginner kit, an intermediate kit, and an advanced kit. This is included. And I also talk about other digital video resources that I use that help me go live. So all the things that has taken me 3 years to learn are in this course, and all of this is included. So share this with your friends, your other people who you know who you would want to share online, to have their courses done virtually, to go live. You like their content and you have been to an in-person event, but you wonder, will they live stream? Do they have a YouTube channel, etc., etc. If you know someone, I want to help them. Share that with them, and then they can start doing that. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you. I think that's it for tonight. I shared the scrappy quilts. We looked at the Q20. We looked at the B79. Just a quick overview, and I was able to test some new tech situations with going live at Studio B. Thank you, ladies, for allowing me to test that out with you tonight. All right. I didn't see any comments about what you ladies are working on, so I guess you guys are taking a break this summer. Maybe so. I will not be taking a break. Now, if you were here last time, we were supposed to have an interview. That did not happen tonight, but it will happen. We had to reschedule the interview. I want to do at least one interview a month. So hopefully in June, we will have our interview with a lady that's written some children's books about quilting. She wants to help the next generation learn about quilting, become quilters, and she shares her history, her family's history of how they got started, and her children's books. She has two, one for a boy, one for a girl. Do you want a little teaser? Did I have it in here with me? I think I brought it into the other room. Where is it? Oh, it's over there on the other side. Renee, fantastic. Finishing up quilts. Awesome. Awesome. That is a good goal to have. So it's on the other side of the room. Let me go get the book. I want to get it so you can see it. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so we're going to have this book. It's Pearl and her Geese Bend quilt. We're going to have a lady who's written this book, Tangular Irby. She wrote this book. She's in the Geese Bend community, and she is going to be with us for an interview next month. I hope. I hope it's going to be next month. It was supposed to be tonight. Okay, so Lori says, I just finished a queen size quilt. Awesome. Wow. And matching pillow, body pillow for your niece. That's amazing. Hello, I don't know who FTF is. Let us know who you are. Hello, so glad that you're here. Awesome. You are welcome here. So that will be the interview for next week. If there's someone you think you'd like to for me to interview, let me know. Send me a message. You can go to my website and always send me a message and let me know what you might be interested in. So I'm going to say good night. It was fun. Thank you for letting me share with you a little bit about my new Bernina machines and my newbie experience. Ah, from Manassas. Yes. I'm so glad to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Fabulous. All right. Have a wonderful Memorial weekend. Be safe if you're traveling. I will see you next month. We're meeting June 2nd. It's always the first and third Friday of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Follow me on social media. Give this video a thumbs up. And don't keep Quilt Conversations Live a secret. Tell your friends. All right. You are welcome. You are welcome, Renee. Welcome. You're welcome, Lori. Good night, Liz. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time for another Quilt Conversations Live.